Why hello everybody, welcome to another video, and today I want to give you some information about the other legendary arcane that was released with Whispers in the Walls, Melee Duplicate. Originally I wanted to make a full episode of But Why for this arcane as well, but then I decided against it because while the description of the arcane is relatively confusing, the arcane itself is very straightforward. What it does is it gives your melee yellow crit up to 100% chance to hit twice. That's what base critical hits means, it's yellow crits, and it works for both light and heavy attacks. From my testing, it does not transfer onto pseudo-exalted abilities even if you go into full melee mode, and unsurprisingly it doesn't work for actual exalted abilities either. So it's really only useful for some weapons, because if your weapon is either not critting, orange critting or red critting, it's not gonna work. So why the hell is it so expensive? This thing is almost twice as expensive as Crescendo, the other legendary arcane, which at the time of recording is sitting at about 100 platinum per arcane, whereas Duplicate sits somewhere around 170-ish. Well, there are two reasons. Number one is availability. This thing is only available as a final reward from Netra cells with about a 5.5% drop chance, so it's very difficult to get. But it's also because it can be very good on some weapons. The first weapon that I thought of when I saw this arcane was a glyph prime with a heavy attack setup. Because even with sacrificial mods, you're at best gonna get orange crits, and not all the time either. You're still gonna get yellow crits unless you have a crit riven. So what I ended up doing here is I actually dialed the crit back by just running primed pressure point and true steel. Because when I combine this with a 2x combo I get from corrupt charge and 2 gladiator mods I have on my Naros, I get almost pure yellow crits with an occasional orange crit here and there. Now, even though I've been very lucky with my Netra cell, so I've actually gotten enough duplicates to rank it up to rank 1, it's still only a 40% chance to hit twice. But even that pumps up the damage quite a bit, especially if you know how to double tap with a glyph, which is basically you throw the glyph and you detonate it after it hits the target, so you get the initial hit and then the explosion on its way back. If you do this correctly, you can get 4 hits out of a single throw, and that's absolutely massive. So this is the kind of setup you would want to use this on, a weapon that doesn't have a ton of crit chance but it crits really well, so it has a special mechanic or it has a huge crit multiplier. I would love to be able to tell you more, but I just can't. It's too difficult to test because melee arcane adapters are relatively rare at the moment. I've gotten a few, but I used those to try out melee Crescendo. It was just sheer coincidence that I happened to try Crescendo on the glyph prime, which works really well with Duplicate. This is another reason why this is not a full episode of But Why. I just don't have enough information at the moment. I might actually do a full episode at some point once people have tested it out and we sort of collectively figured out where it works and where it doesn't. Like, one thing I'm very curious about is whether or not you can make it work with Shroud of Dinar, as in run a melee weapon with a relatively high crit and dial your Shroud of Dinar so that you're mostly yellow critting and then not run crit chance mods at all. That would be an interesting thing to try, but I can't because I don't have the adapters for it. This is something I would highly recommend you try out if you're a fan of Varuna and you manage to get your hands on Duplicate. Another idea I had was building a Zord that has just the right amount of crit chance on it. That's an idea as well. It might not be better as building the Zord for maximum crits, which is what you usually do, but still, it's an idea. I'm just spitballing here, but I wanted to give you as much information out here so that maybe you will get an idea and figure out something really cool. Because the arcane has a ton of potential. Yes, it's great on the glyph prime, but how many other weapons can it be used on and actually be worthwhile? Well, that's something that we as the community need to figure out. And as always guys, I thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video, found it helpful and it gave you some ideas for Melee Duplicate, and I would also like to extend a special thank you to all the channel members. Thank you very much guys, I really appreciate your support. And I'll see you next time. Bye bye. So hopefully this video gave you some ideas. Thunderstorm in the middle of December. Like, what's even... What the hell is going on today? I mean, seriously.